At this moment, Sabo began to act. He managed to steal the keys from the guards, so they continuously attacked Sabo, but quickly, Sabo defeated them. Suddenly, Sabo encountered Bonnie. This surprised him. Bonnie said, "We have the same goal." It turned out that Sabo knew Bonnie was Kuma's daughter. Bonnie also trusted the Revolutionary Army. She knew they wanted to rescue her father, so Sabo handed the key to Karasu's crow. This was to free the slaves in Kuma. At this moment, Bonnie told Sabo that she would go to Egghead to find Vegapunk, because she wanted to find a way to restore her father's consciousness. Suddenly, Sabo realized that the soldiers were closing in, so Sabo pulled Bonnie and jumped up. Thanks to this, the soldiers couldn't see them. However, Sabo overheard the soldiers' conversation. They mentioned that there was a secret room in Mary Joie's. This surprised Sabo. At this moment, Sabo and Bonnie had escaped outside. Because Bonnie was going to Egghead, Sabo wished her good luck, leaving Bonnie feeling confused. Because he is a Revolutionary Army member but treats a pirate like her kindly, Sabo said, "We both want to save the same person," so Bonnie left. Meanwhile, Sabo was curious about the secret room. He decided to go investigate. Meanwhile, Cobra entered the room of the 5 elders alone. He was surprised. Inside the room was an empty throne. There were many rusty swords around. Suddenly, the 5 elders appeared. They asked, "What do you want to ask?" Cobra then asked them, "The world government was established by 20 countries 800 years ago. The founders came to Mary Joie's, and they are called the Celestial Dragons. However, these 20 countries wanted to treat each other equally, so they deliberately created the empty throne, to prevent anyone from becoming a dictator. Meanwhile, the names of the 20 kings who came to Mary Joie's will be erased from their kingdoms. But Arabasta was different. Queen Lily still retains her name among the original 20. And she refused to become a celestial dragon, to return to Arabasta, so now there are only 19 forbidden swords around the empty throne. However, what Cobra is curious about is, he has read the entire history after the Void Century, but he does not see Queen Lily's name, and she never returned to Arabasta, so Cobra does not know where she went. But the 5 elders said that they also didn't know about this, because that event happened a long time ago. Suddenly, Cobra asked, "What is D?" Which surprised the 5 elders. It turns out that 800 years ago, Lily left a letter for the Nefertari royal family about this. In another room, Emu had vanished. At this moment, Kuma had captured Shirahoshi, which made Charlos very happy. It turns out he wanted to keep her as his pet. This frightened Shirahoshi. Meanwhile, Charlos wanted Shirahoshi to carry him everywhere. But Shirahoshi refused him, and she pleaded for help from everyone. However, they were all frightened and ran away. Suddenly, Shirahoshi's 3 brothers arrived. They were determined to protect their sister, so they immediately attacked Charlos, but he ordered Kuma to attack them. This made Shirahoshi anxious. Suddenly, Rebecca also ran to help Shirahoshi. This made Charlos very angry. When Fukaboshi intended to attack him, Myasgard immediately stopped him, because Fukaboshi would be accused if he attacked a celestial dragon. Suddenly, Leo and Sai struck Charlos on the head, causing him to be forced down to the ground. Kuma then attacked them. But Morley appeared and blocked Kuma, and he took Kuma away, causing everyone to be surprised. Meanwhile, Cobra was still questioning the 5 elders, "What is the D?" But they did not answer him. Suddenly, Emu appeared, causing the 5 elders to be surprised, because Emu wanted to appear in front of Cobra. So, Emu walked over and sat on the empty throne, surprising Cobra. Cobra never thought anyone would sit on the empty throne. But now, Emu was sitting in front of him. So, Cobra asked Emu, "Who are you?" He believed Emu was one of the 20 people who founded the world government. Although Emu did not want to answer Cobra's question. But, Emu told Cobra, "The D family is the one that has once opposed me. And now they are appearing everywhere. This stems from Lily's mistake 800 years ago." This left Cobra astonished. The scholars of Ohara tried to uncover the history of the Void Century. And the pirates also sought poneglyphs to hunt for treasure. The poneglyphs were Lily's mistake. Emu wondered if Lily had intentionally scattered the poneglyphs throughout the world. Suddenly, the 5 elders drew their guns and aimed at Cobra. Emu believed the answer lay in the letter Lily left in Arabasta. Now, Emu said to Cobra, "You should say Lily's full name from the letter." This made Cobra very anxious, as he realized he would not have a chance to survive leaving here. The 5 elders said, "The moment you saw Emu, your fate was sealed." They pointed their guns at Cobra. He realized he knew the greatest taboo of this world. Meanwhile, Sabo had infiltrated the room and witnessed everything. So, Cobra decided to reveal the name of Queen Lily from 800 years ago. And her name was Nefertari D. Lily. This made Emu furious. So, Emu attacked Cobra, seriously injuring him. Suddenly, Sabo jumped out and attacked them. Sabo aimed for Emu. This made Emu angry. Unexpectedly, Emu transformed into a giant creature. It absorbed Sabo's attack, leaving Sabo astonished. Suddenly, the 5 elders also began transforming into giant creatures. Sabo realized that those at the top of the world possessed tremendous power. A nearby transponder snail captured the images of Sabo and Cobra. As the 5 elders prepared to attack Sabo, he used fire to stop them. Cobra realized that Sabo was Luffy's brother. This surprised Sabo, as he knew Luffy. So, Cobra said that Luffy was his benefactor. At that moment, Sabo picked up Cobra and ran. He promised to do his best to help Cobra escape. But, the 5 elders and Emu were still pursuing Sabo. Cobra realized he was a burden to Sabo. So, he told Sabo to leave him behind. However, Sabo was determined to save Cobra. At that moment, Cobra asked Sabo to tell Luffy and Vivi that the Nefertari family all carried the D surname. This surprised Sabo. He recalled his childhood with Ace and Luffy. Sabo wondered if the fact that both of their names contained D was just a coincidence. But, they also did not know about this. Ace teased and added D to his name. This made them all very happy. At this moment, Cobra realized what the Nefertari family needed to do. Meanwhile, Emu was still pursuing them. Sabo noticed that Cobra was about to reach his limit. Suddenly, Emu attacked Sabo. This caused him to be seriously injured and fall. At that moment, they had caught up to them. Unexpectedly, Cobra tried to stand up. He decided to sacrifice himself so that Sabo could escape. So, Sabo had no choice but to leave. In the end, Cobra died. Emu and the 5 elders stood around his body. Unexpectedly, Wapol also saw everything through a hole in the wall. This left him very frightened, because he had learned a terrifying truth that he shouldn't have known. So, Wapol immediately ran away. He realized this was the darkness of the world government. Suddenly, Wapol tripped and fell down the stairs. This surprised the guards, because he was filled with fear. Wapol didn't even want to attend the reverie meeting. Meanwhile, the reverie meeting continued. Everyone noticed that both Cobra and Wapol were absent. At this moment, Shirahoshi's brothers were trying to cheer her up. Fukaboshi reassured Shirahoshi that the meeting would end soon. So, they would be able to return shortly. Suddenly, Shirahoshi expressed her desire to see Vivi. She was worried about where Vivi was. Meanwhile, Vivi was being held captive by the CP0. It turned out that former members of CP9 had been promoted to CP0. But, Vivi was still worried about Shirahoshi. So, Jabra reassured Vivi that Shirahoshi was safe. Meanwhile, Leo and Sai were excitedly declaring that they were members of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. So, they were not afraid of the Celestial Dragons. Meanwhile, Fujitora had helped the Revolutionary Army free the slaves. This made Ryokugayu angry. He didn't understand why Fujitora did this. It turned out that Fujitora wanted to dismantle this dictatorship. But, Ryokugayu reminded them that they were Marines. He saw that Fujitora was still not backing down. So, Ryokugayu unleashed the power of his devil fruit. At this moment, Jabra realized that the reverie meeting was in chaos. Suddenly, Wapol broke through the wall and entered their room. This surprised the CP0 and Vivi. It turned out that Wapol was very scared and looking for a way to escape. Suddenly, Vivi came up with an escape plan. The CP0 didn't know what was happening to him. However, Jabra realized that Vivi had vanished. It turned out that Vivi had jumped into Wapol's mouth. This surprised Wapol. Vivi asked why he was so scared. But, Wapol just wanted to get out of there immediately. At this moment, Wapol's wife was searching for him. Suddenly, she saw Wapol running away with Vivi. This shocked her. She thought they were planning to escape together. At this moment, Sabo was trying to escape from Mary Joieuse. But, the soldiers were still searching for him. While Sabo remembered that Cobra had sacrificed himself to save him. He felt very guilty, because Sabo was unable to save Cobra. So, he needed to quickly find Luffy and Vivi to inform them. Suddenly, Sabo sensed someone nearby. It turned out to be just a rabbit. Unexpectedly, the soldiers found and attacked Sabo. At that moment, Cobra's subordinates were very worried about him, because they still hadn't found Cobra and Vivi. Igaram didn't understand what was happening in Mary Joie's. So, they continued to split up to search for Cobra and Vivi. Meanwhile, Chaka wanted to meet the 5 elders, because Cobra had disappeared from their room. But the guards wouldn't let him in. Igaram also searched everywhere for Vivi, but no one had seen her anywhere. At this moment, Sabo disguised himself as a guard. He was looking for a way to escape from Mary Joie's. Meanwhile, Wapol and Vivi had run to the harbor. They were also looking for a way to leave, but there were many Marines guarding the harbor, which made them anxious. Suddenly, Vivi saw a group of people transporting goods. So, Vivi told Wapol to hide in there. At this moment, Sabo had reached the harbor, but he didn't know how to get out of there. Suddenly, he spotted a ship that could help him leave Mary Joie's. Meanwhile, Vivi and Wapol had hidden inside a cargo crate. Thanks to that, they successfully escaped. At this moment, Vivi decided to reveal to the world what happened in Mary Joie's. This made Wapol worried, as it would mean they would be executed by the world government. So, he wanted to hand Vivi over to the Marines. But Vivi immediately threatened Wapol. This frightened Wapol, because Wapol also knew the truth about the world government. He was certain that he would be executed. Suddenly, Wapol realized there was someone who could help him. He took out a transponder snail. This surprised Vivi. So, Vivi asked to borrow it from him. But Wapol said, "This is my lifeline." After that, he contacted Morgans. Wapol informed Morgans that he had something important to share. He even mentioned that he would be killed if he revealed this secret. So, Wapol requested Morgans to come and pick him up. This surprised Morgans. He then asked for their location. Vivi said they were on the ship of the Aegis Kingdom. At this moment, Morgans was very excited, because he was about to get a shocking new story. Meanwhile, Vivi didn't know what secret Wapol was referring to. But Wapol didn't want to tell her. So, Vivi borrowed his transponder snail to call her father. This made Wapol anxious and unable to give it to her. Meanwhile, the CP0 was still searching for Vivi and Sabo, while Bonnie had also escaped from Mary Joie's. But she is very hungry. On Sabo's side, he successfully infiltrated the ship of Luluja. However, he still remembered Cobra's death. This made Sabo feel very guilty. After the reverie meeting concluded, news of King Cobra's assassination spread throughout the world. At this moment, in the meeting room of the 5 elders, they recognized that Sabo was a person of very special status, because there were many people around him with the letter D. Suddenly, Emu announced to them, "I want to use the Mother Flame developed by Vegapunk on the kingdom of Luluja." This surprised the 5 elders. They realized Emu wanted to destroy Luluja, but they didn't understand why Emu chose Luluja. Emu said, "Because it's nearby." After that, the kingdom of Luluja was immediately destroyed. At this moment, the 5 elders realized that the power of the Mother Flame was exactly as they had hoped. They could use it to end the conflict with their enemies. Suddenly, Emu continued to issue commands. "I want Vivi." So, the 5 elders immediately obeyed Iamu's orders. At Marine headquarters, Akainu received reports. Numerous uprisings were occurring everywhere. So, Akainu decided to call the Seraphim into action. Finally, the Seraphim versions of Doflamingo, Moria, and Crocodile appeared. Suddenly, Akainu received more news. Crocodile had appeared at Empty Bluffs Island, an island occupied by Buggy. He easily defeated all the Marines there. At this moment, Sabo finished telling Dragon and Ivankov everything. He had brought many refugees from Luluja with him. So, they decided to join the Revolutionary Army. Sabo realized that the world government had eavesdropped on his call with Dragon. That was how they knew Sabo was in Luluja. Sabo was shocked that they were willing to destroy Luluja just because of him. Moreover, their power was truly terrifying. At this moment, Ivankov thought that the person named Emu whom Sabo had met could be one of the 20 founders of the world government from 800 years ago. That person was referred to as Saint Emu of the Nerona family. There was even evidence suggesting that this individual had the ability of immortality. Although this was just Ivankov's speculation. But he believes that the one who can make the 5 elders kneel. Surely that person is no ordinary individual. He also realized that the weapon that destroyed the kingdom of Lulusia was the weapon created by Vegapunk. But Dragon did not believe that Vegapunk could create such a weapon. So Ivankov suspected it was an ancient weapon. This left Dragon confused. If the world government possessed an ancient weapon, why wouldn't they immediately eliminate them now? On the side of Mary Joieuse, a celestial dragon was executed. It turned out that the one executed was Don Quixote Mjosgard. He had protected the Fishman Island. The one who executed him was the supreme commander of the gods' knights, Saint Figarland Garling. That's it for today's video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Support Onichan for future videos. Thank you for watching. Love you always.